After a quiet start to the year, we have finally got some supposed Doctor Who news, with reports that current companion Millie Gibson, only recently introduced on Christmas Day, is set to leave the series. So this story has come from The Mirror, Nicola Metvin, who has reported on various Doctor Who rumours in the past, and those rumours have turned out to be correct. They claim that Millie has been dropped from the show, and her replacement has already been cast. The report goes as follows. Doctor Who companion Millie Gibson is being dropped from the BBC sci-fi show and will be replaced for Ncuti Gatwa's second series by actress Farhada Settu. The decision by showrunner Russell T Davies to write out the former Coronation Street star, who plays Orphan Ruby Sunday, was made last year after filming on her first run ended. The shock twist will come as a surprise to fans who only watched her on-screen debut in the festive episode last month. Now Millie will not appear in the 2024 Christmas special later this year, and will make only a handful of appearances across Ncuti's second series as the Doctor during 2025. The 8 episodes she has already filmed will air from May, the BBC has announced. After that, it will not be Millie flanking him on his time travels in the TARDIS, but new companion Farhada, who has already started filming at the studios in Cardiff. Farhada is 32 and has enjoyed various roles in the Star Wars spin-off Andor. She's been in the Sky drama Strike Back, in Dr. Foster, and films such as Jurassic World Dominion and Now You See Me Too. A BBC source supposedly says, Farhada is a real gem. Russell was just blown away by her talent. The cast and crew have really warmed to her, and he's sure that fans will too. Following Russell's decision to write her out, Millie filmed for 3 months before Christmas. She is now almost finished on the show, and will only be back to tie up loose ends in the coming weeks, according to insiders. In next year's series, her character is expected to appear in just 3 of the 8 episodes, with one of them a standalone story wrapping up Ruby Sunday's journey with the Doctor. So what is going on here? Are these rumours true? Could there be any truth to them based on what we do know, or is it just a load of rubbish? Let's break it down. So first of all, we know that Millie was cast as the new companion, the current companion, Ruby Sunday, in the autumn of 2022, ahead of filming on this year's season, Season 1, which wrapped in the summer of last year. Now we also know that filming for next year's season, Season 2, started before Christmas, I believe around about the time that the 60th specials went out, or maybe a little bit earlier. The Christmas special is believed to be one of the episodes that was filmed as part of one of the early blocks with Nicola Coughlan, the one-off companion, supposedly for this year's Christmas special, or at least a kind of supporting character in some form. Now, some of the episodes were filmed as well before Christmas, I believe, and Millie was seen at some of this filming. So, for instance, there was some filming at Ruby's home in Bristol, which we now know from having seen it on screen at Christmas. There was some filming there, I believe, with another actor who's believed to be a love interest for Ruby in next year's season, and that's sort of the extent of what we know about her involvement. So she is definitely going to be appearing in next year's season, but perhaps she might have a reduced role. It is conceivable. It's the type of thing that we have seen in Russell's seasons in the past. For instance, Rose was across 2 series, but then Martha was just a 1-series companion who was in series 4 but not on a full-time basis. Donna was the main companion then, and Martha came back, for some guest appearances here and there in the middle of the series and at the end, but she wasn't there all the time. It's also worth saying that in Russell's first era, the regular cast did change, was shaken up each year to some extent, by accident or design. So for instance, to begin with, we had Christopher Eccleston and Billie Piper. Presumably they would have both continued for a second series, that might have been the original plan, but as things happened, Christopher Eccleston left and was replaced by David Tennant. So we had Rose continuing, but a new Doctor. Then the following year we had a new companion in the form of Martha Jones, like I say. The following year we had a new old companion in the form of Donna Noble, and it kept changing, like that. Each year, the specials all had one-off companions as well. Nothing stayed the same for long. So on the one hand, you might say that this is kind of in keeping with and is fitting with Russell's style of Doctor Who, where characters don't stick around forever, companions do come and go, it keeps things fresh, obviously, it allows new viewers to come on. So, for instance, from that point of view, it would make a certain sort of sense. I think, nevertheless, people are sort of understandably shocked to hear that Millie might potentially only be doing one season, 1 year. Seasons are that bit shorter now, only 8 episodes long, so it means a shorter run than previous companions have enjoyed. 8 episodes plus the Christmas special, that's 9, plus, this supposed sort of 3 episodes next year as well. That would be a 12 episode run for her, which I suppose sort of does equate to an old-fashioned, Russell early revival era series in terms of length, 12 episodes, 13 episodes. But nevertheless, it kind of feels quite brief, and as well, because this news is only coming, shortly after we've just been introduced to Millie Gibson and Ruby Sunday for the first time in the show itself. It almost feels like she's leaving before she's even begun on the show. We haven't seen season 1 yet. So that's kind of the view, I think, on this news, if it is true. Now, of course, like with anything and any rumour, take it with a massive pinch of salt, a phrase which seems even more fitting these days given the stuff in Wild Blue Yonder with the salt and this pantheon of mythical creatures that are somehow waiting in the wings to terrorise the Doctor in future episodes. It's entirely possible that this isn't true, that it is rubbish. I think myself, I am kind of leaning towards it maybe being true or there being some truth in it. The exact spin as well is something that we should be wary of. This idea that Millie has been dropped from the show or basically sacked. That's kind of what they're saying, really, or that some agreement has been reached where her time has come to a premature end, that this wasn't planned. That's sort of a separate thing, the kind of the reasons behind this, if indeed it is true, whether it was planned this way or not, or whether it just kind of evolved naturally. There was a report, I think, sort of about 6 months ago, sometime last year, in one of the tabloid papers that claimed that Millie had been acting like a diva on set and had been a real pain for the other crew members and the other cast members and stuff. If that was true, then it would fit with this report, but again, we shouldn't jump to any conclusions there because these are real people that are involved in this stuff. So there are kind of two sides to this, I think. Number one, is the rumour true? Is Millie leaving? Number two, if it is true, what are the reasons? Was it planned? Was it not? We might never know. I think, personally, my view on this, if it is true, I'm not against the idea. Yes, it seems quite soon, but that's only because we haven't actually seen her episodes go out yet. I think actually in practice to only have a companion last for one series, it's happened a lot in the past. It would make sense for her to have a reduced role in the second series, to have a kind of Martha-like role where her story is wrapped up, or she maybe turns up to offer some advice to the new companion. Something along those lines, which also allows for some nice world building as well, where Ruby can come back for episodes in the future. I'm not at all familiar with Radha Setu, the actress who is supposedly going to be the new companion. I mean, from the report and from kind of Googling her and stuff, she's quite a bit older than Millie, but that's not saying much because Millie's very young in the first place. She's still only in her early 30s. But, it would be kind of a different sort of companion, I suppose. Not quite so youthful or kind of like down with the kids, for want of a better sort of way of putting it. Maybe a slightly more adult character, perhaps, something along those lines. And it would kind of allow for a different dynamic and a different sort of side of Ncuti's Doctor to kind of come to the fore as well. So I think potentially that could be quite interesting. I think with all this, we shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves. If this news is true, it has clearly leaked before they intended it to get out, and if this companion, Varada, if she is the new companion, then obviously it's not been revealed in the way that they would have wanted it to be revealed. Millie was unveiled on Children in Need, and in the past, we've had specially shot trailers or things or press releases to announce a new companion. So yeah, it's a shame from their point of view. I wonder, if it is true, whether they will confirm it sooner or later. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But personally, yeah, I'm kind of sensing that this one maybe is true or there's some truth in it. We'll just have to wait and see. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on this rumour down in the comments below, and if you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this in the future. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.